Hey, Stepsters. I'm Lasya.
And I'm Kritika, and we're your trainers from Future Steps.
Today we'll be discovering the periodic table. We have over 100 unique elements organized to understand all matter in our universe with the periodic table.
So now, without wasting any time, let's get into what an element is. So, elements are pure substances that cannot be broken down further, so they're already at their simplest form. Each element has unique names and symbols. For example, hydrogen hydrogen is a name and its symbol is H. And then carbon symbol is C, and oxygen symbol is O. And obviously there are 100 more and I'm not going to be listing them all out. So I'm pretty sure you guys got the idea. And then an element is basically the building blocks of all matter on Earth. So let's get into it.
So, how is the table organized, you may wonder? So, we have two things. We have periods and groups. Groups are also called families. So, first, let's look at periods. So, these are horizontal rows. So, they go from left to right in a periodic table. For example, if you have the periodic table like that, right? Oh, something like that, right? So everything, and then you have lines all over. This is a rough sketch, so don't go with this. I'm sure the periodic table is way different than this. I'm just drawing the rough sketch to explain it to y'all. Um, so basically, everything from like, let's say this element, this element, this element, this element, and all of these here, these are all in the same period. So they go from left to right, all right to left, right? But you always read the periodic table from left to right. So just remember that. That's why it's specified here to be left to right. And then we have the groups or families. These are vertical columns, they go from up and down. So same, you read the periodic table from left to right and then up and down. And let's say all of these elements, like the element here, 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 and here, all of these fall into the same group or the family.
Mhm. So now let's talk about understanding atomic number and atomic mass. So an atomic number is the number of protons in the nucleus. And then the atomic mass is the weight of protons plus neutrons. So when you're calculating the atomic mass, you're just going to take the number of protons and add it to the number of neutrons. And that is usually how people. So if I give you the number of protons and you have the atomic mass, because you can see it in the periodic table, you can automatically find neutrons, and that is why this is useful. And then in one of our previous videos, we did talk about where all of these are located in a periodic table, so do go ahead and watch our Anatomy of an Atom video if you haven't already.
Now let's talk about families of the periodic table. So we have the alkali metals, the noble gases, and the halogens. The alkali metals are very soft and very reactive metals, and they're in group one. So, like I said before, group is reading from up to down, so it's vertical. So, everything from like these are alkaline metals. So, they are very soft and they're very reactive metals. And then we have the noble gases. These are non-reactive, colorless gases and they're in group 18. That means like almost the last group. They're somewhere here, right? And they are known as noble gases because they're non-reactive. And then we have the halogens. These are highly reactive nonmetals, and they are in group 17, so one group before the noble gases, and they are very highly reactive nonmetals. And metals are mostly in the left side of the periodic table. And then we have the nonmetals mostly on the right side or throughout the periodic table.
Mhm. So now we're going to be talking about metals, nonmetals, and metalloids. So metals are shiny, and most metals can conduct electricity. And then, like Lasia mentioned, metals are located on the left side, usually on the left side of the periodic table. And then we have our nonmetals that are usually brittle, and they're poor conductors, so they cannot conduct electricity or heat. So most nonmetals are insulators, and these are located on the right side of the periodic table. Then we have metalloids. Metalloids have properties of both. So you might have noticed that there's like a stair-shaped line in the periodic table. That is where the metalloids are located. So let's say I can't really find it here, but here I can draw a rough sketch of that. So we have our periodic table, right? So let's say this is how our periodic table looks. And then there are a bunch of elements. Okay, and then there is a place here that, let me just switch my color so you can see it better. So there is a place that has like a star-shaped kind of darkened line in every periodic table. It's probably not exactly where I drew it, but it's around that area. And everything that has all the elements that touch that staircase are usually metalloids, with I think with one exception, which I do not know by heart, but when you get into high school, you will get to know all of these and you will know exactly what they are and where they're located, so you don't have to worry about that now, but this is all you need to know.
Now let's look at some important elements. So firstly, we have hydrogen, and this is one of the most abundant element, and it fuels the sun. It helps for the sun to run, and sun is mostly made up of hydrogen, and it's the first element in our periodic table. Then we have the oxygen. Oxygen is what we breathe in, right? So it's essential for breathing, and it's also an element that makes up water. So it's really important for us, and it's located at number 8 in the periodic table. So its atomic number is number 8. And then we have iron. So iron is used in building and it's also in our blood, which helps us, give us our nutrition and minerals. It's not nutrition, but it's a mineral, and it's really important for our human body. And it's located at 26, number 26 in the periodic table, so atomic number 26.
Mhm. So now let's talk about a few fun facts about the periodic table. So, did you know the periodic table was created by Dmitry Mendeleev in 1869? And this is hopefully how it looks like, or how it looked like back then. And then in our periodic table, some symbols come from Latin. So, for example, the symbol for lead, which is Pb, is a Latin symbol because there's neither a P nor a B in lead, and there are many other such symbols in our periodic table. And then currently we have 118 known elements. And there are definitely a few unknown elements, but these are all the ones that mankind knows.
Um, Periodic table in everyday life. So periodic table or elements themselves appear everywhere around us. So they can be in your home. So for example, salt, right? It's made up of Na plus Cl. So salt is also an element that's located in the periodic table. And then We have pencils, which are made of C, carbon, and the tip, the black part of the pencil itself, it's made of carbon. And then we have the coins, which are made of copper, Cu, and nickel, which is Ni. And these are also found at your home, and these are elements that are also found in the periodic table. Finally, you can try this experiment. So build an atom game online. So in online, if you just search out building an atom, you can find many games on them, and then you can also build your own atom with different protons, with different number of neutrons, electrons, and that way you can see how many different atoms you can make and what different elements you can make with that atom itself.
Mhm. And it's a really fun thing that we've also used before, so definitely recommend it. Now we're on to our summary. So, why study the periodic table? That is because of our understanding. So, understanding the periodic table can explain how our world works. And a lot of the elements are usually found in the ground, but probably not anymore, so do not try digging up your yard. Unlikely of finding gold in there. And then it's also because we can find a bunch of patterns. So these patterns can also help us predict element behavior. So what we mean by element behavior is how they react with each other and what their properties are and how they generally stay in an environment. And then just for our own curiosity, this can inspire new discoveries. So a lot of scientists they usually have they usually reference to a periodic table, and if you look at a periodic table yourself, you're probably going to wonder, oh well, what are these few unknown elements, right? And you'd want to discover more about them and you'd want to know more. So that is the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed this video, learned a lot. So comment down below if you have any questions, concerns, or video requests or anything at all. And we do read our comments, so don't worry about us randomly skipping over yours because that is not going to happen. So that is it for today. Have a really good day or really good night. Goodbye.
Bye, Stepsters.